We we left off 242. We just finished the Ramah. 242. We're holding the Mishna Berura Lamates. The Ramah says that if a person initially makes a Tanai on the Esrog, that he's going to eat it Bein Hashmoshos, meaning the second night, as Bein Hashmoshos, he will benefit from it. He's not designated for the sake of a mitzvah. Because the Gemara says in Sukkah, a person has 7 esrogim, and he designates each esrog for another day, he's able to eat the esrog. Because it's only huktzil mitzvah, it's only been designated for mitzvah for that day. Sukkah, we explained yesterday, the moment it becomes nois sukkah, it's designated for the sukkah, even if it's for the first day, it's for all 7 days. Because the first, it's like 7 continuous days. Because you're obligated in the sukkah day and night. But the mitzvah of lulav is a day mitzvah, it's not a night mitzvah. So therefore, every day is another mitzvah. So therefore, you're able to set this precondition. It's only designated for day 1. Day 2, it's a separate designation. Because nighttime has no relevance to the mitzvah. Because you're not able to fill the mitzvah at nighttime. Okay? So that's the Ramah. Lasos al esrig, Lamites, page 242. Hainu ber of Yom Tov kodem beid hashmoshes. Meaning, before Yom Tov starts, you make this precondition. Sheyilo kulo liom rishon. It's designated to be used for the first day. Then yochel istos sheinu bodem menov yuchel hionus. Do yom rishon is katso. You can't say, well, during the day after I finish using the esrog, I eat the esrog. The day is the day, because if you're using it on the day itself, so all the day period has relevance to the mitzvah, right? So therefore, you can't eat it on the first day, right? It's only the second day. The yom rishon is katzoi kulo. We say it's a concept. Kivin is katzoi liyom, right? Kivin is katzoi. So once it's been designated for day, it's the day. The choseh possible. So because you can't. It's interesting. He's saying he's introducing something else. Well, I'll say it's designated for mitzvah. 50% of the esrog is designated. You can't first day. You can't be yotze with 50% of an esrog the first day, right? Because it's choser is possible. If any part of the esrog is missing, so therefore, what is considered designating an esrog for the first day of Sukkot? It's the total esrog. So once it's been designated, it's designated. So you have to wait for the day to be over before you're able to what? To eat the esrog. This esrog, I want it to be available to me the second night and beyond. Because the first day is like one day. It's one continuous period. So the Ramah says, so therefore, lechatchila, it's not, if you have nothing else to eat, then you're permitted to eat it. Lechatchila, Ramah says, mutal lechol mimenu miyom sheni ve'elach lo tzistei mitzvah im anishar. You can eat part of it, and the remainder you can fulfill the mitzvah. We said earlier, right? As long as it's not a rodent that bit out of it, a person bites out of the esrog, you will be yotzei. Dilo hisneinu rashoy lechol mimenu afilu b'chol yimei hachag. Why? Once it's been designated for the mitzvah at the entry point of Yom Tiv, vim hifrish lehatchil yom sheni. Das mogen Avram b'shem arosh demuta lecho afilu below tanai. Let's see. Initially, he says esrog 1. He doesn't make it night. He says this second esrog is for the second day of Yom Tiv. He designates for the second day of Yom Tiv. What does that mean? You designate for second day of Yom Tiv. It's a chiddush in Mogen Avram. Without a tanai, are you permitted to eat of the esrog the second day? So he says that since you could be yotzei with a partial esrog on the second day, so even if you don't say a tanai, saying I'm going to be yotzei with the esrog doesn't mean I'm going to be yotzei, that the whole esrog is designated for the mitzvah, right? Because you could be yotzei with a partial esrog. That's the Mogen Avram. It's a chiddush. The first day for sure you can't eat it. Cannot. Because you need the whole esrog. You can't. The first day you need the whole esrog. You never used it. You never used it. So it's nothing. It's a citron.
Right. So you eat it, and then the second day you use it.
It's understood you could do that. He would say he designates it. He doesn't make anything. He says this esrog is for the usage on the second day. He didn't say a quarter of it, a third of it. Second day, Mogen Avram says no tanai. If he wants to eat part of the esrog, he's permitted. Because designation doesn't mean the whole esrog, because you don't need a whole esrog to be yotzei, right? It's a chiddush. That's what b'shem Rosh, quoting the Rosh. The muta lechel afil below tanai. Rak sheyashi ashir roy le'esrog. But he has to leave an amount that's sufficient that it should be recognized as an esrog. L'amidin skatzei rak ashir roy le'esrog v'lo yoser. V'yesh omrim afilu hifrish le'um sheni. Even when he designates it for the second day where you don't need a whole esrog, amridon tiskatzoi al esrog. The esrog has already been designated. Unless he said something specifically, I'm only designating part of the esrog, only then is he able to eat the rest. The Gra, the Vilna Gaon concurs with the more stringent opinion. Now it's interesting. You know, if Walter Whitestone would be alive, he would have asked the question, what about Brera? Right? A person says, the esrog, let's according to the Rush. We say, since you could be yotzi with a partial esrog, so he only needs part of it. Which part? Whichever. Which is whichever. Right? If you say the top part, okay, the top part. The bottom part, the bottom part. Whatever it is, but you have to know which part. So if you hold, we rule, so if you hold Brera, if you hold Yesh Brera, right, that whatever you choose to be, that's the part that was meant to be used, fine. But if you hold Ein Brera, it's a problem. But it's not a problem, because we rule halacha. If it's a doraisa, we rule Ein Brera. We rule Ein Brera, meaning it has to be very specifically identified in advance. You can't say, what I will, that will be what I originally meant. But since the second is only Drabanan, right? Secondly is Drabanan, the mitzvah of lulav. Since we rule Lakula, Yesh Brera. We rule Yesh Brera. So based on that, so it's not a problem. Whichever part of the esrog I choose to use, that's what's going to be. So therefore, even he doesn't designate, because even when he says, I will eat half of the esrog, which half? Does he have to say the right half, the left half? He doesn't have to say which half. Because again, that's Brera. To be determined, whatever I decide, that's originally what I meant. And we rule this way. Regarding Drabanan, you say Yesh Brera.
So if someone has an esrog for 7 days, what he designates for 1 day, just for the 7 days, and then he, the third day he cuts it in half and uses for a salad, and the other part he uses for the esrog.
And he didn't make it tonight?
No tonight.
It's a problem. Then it's a problem. Because since it started with the first day extends itself. But if he initially starts with the second day itself, you don't need a whole esrog. Doesn't make no, but he didn't make it tonight. If he made it tonight, it's not a problem. If he'd say the first day, I will yotze, and from the first day, beyond the first day onward, then I will use it for whatever I choose to use it for. He used it for both. He could. Could you do that?
But maybe in this case, in the second day, even if he designated the second day, he can still eat from it. So why is that worse than what on the second day?
No, because if it starts with the first day, it seems to be, if it starts with the first day, this esrog is going to be my esrog for whole sukkahs. So since we see,
it has to be the whole esrog, and the first day has to be
so,
taken.
yeah, right, because it's unless he says other than that. But when he says second day, when he starts, doesn't mean the whole esrog. Doesn't mean the whole esrog. He doesn't need the whole esrog. If he, let's say a person would designate the whole esrog for all 7 days, he would say it explicitly. Everybody agrees. He can't use it for in a salad. Can't. He's not. He can't because he said I will use the whole esrog for all 7 days. If he would say that. So if he takes the esrog the first day, and he says this esrog will be my esrog the first day through all the days of Sukkot. So the first day means the whole esrog. And since he didn't differentiate between the subsequent days and the first day, that means the whole esrog. But if he designates the second day according to the Rosh, second day doesn't mean the whole esrog. Because the second day you don't need a whole esrog. So he's not starting off with a whole esrog. You understand the difference? So therefore, according to Rosh, he doesn't have to verbalize it if it's the second day. If he says this esrog will be used on the second day or the third day or the fourth day, even if he doesn't say part, he could cut it in half and use it for a salad. That's the Rosh. But halacha, the Vilna Gaon and others, they argue, and the Vilna Gaon favors the more stringent opinion that you have to be very specific. No, did the first person use it already? So it's a fruit. It only assumes that level only once you use it. Let's say somebody gives you a gift as an esrog. You buy it as an esrog. We hold Hazman Alav Milsa, right? Designation alone is not enough to give it any status. You buy an esrog, you pay $1,000 for the esrog. And you choose not, he says, this is the most expensive salad we've ever eaten in this house. Right? Esrog salad. The dat hechsher and every other hechsher. Okay? But that actually was for Esrog, to be Yotze the Mitzvah, not for salad. But okay, the halachas you could eat it. It's not a problem.
Oh, I have a benefiting. Esrog smells beautiful.
Therefore,
So on a second day, you get benefit from it.
we're going to discuss it later. We'll discuss this later.
You say a bracha on it?
We'll discuss once you smelling is different. Something it's different. We'll see. We'll know, see the halacha later, whether you smell the Esrog smelling.
Question is separate bracha, right?
It's not simple. There's a difference of before you do the mitzvah, after you do the mitzvah. Right? We'll see. We'll get there. Lechel mimenu v'lotzeis. Pirush lechel. It's very often. It's interesting. On Hoshana Rabbah, it's less that we use the esrog. I remember in Muncie there was one of the Hasidic kids had a big cardboard box, and he went around collecting esrogim. And his mother's making marmalade. I don't know when she starts the process. If she starts it on Hoshana Rabbah, it's a problem, right? Because the people themselves, when they're esrogim, right? Everybody has one esrog, and that esrog is for a whole yom tov. That means for all 7 days. So if she starts, even to invalidate it, to start cutting it up, even if you gift it, doesn't make a difference. The esrog already has been designated for even if you mafka, it doesn't make a difference. It's already been designated for a mitzvah. No, it doesn't help. No. If the person doesn't say that initially. No, we said not. We don't think that. That's the rush. We rule halacha that unless if you don't verbalize it, you have to play after day. After shkia is something else. If on Shmini Atzeret she wants to make marmalade, it's not a problem. Because that's the halacha we're saying here. That's the argument. It's not the reality. Firstly, it's not necessarily. Not everybody. Many people take the esrog home with them. They take it home afterwards. No. If initially when you take it, it's the problem. It's a problem. The discussion we're discussing until now is a person didn't say, even the Rush who's so lenient. Person wants to eat the esrog on the third day, not the whole esrog, part of the esrog. So we say, since initially you never needed the whole esrog to be yotzi the mitzvah, so the whole esrog wasn't designated for the mitzvah. But to take the whole esrog and eat it, you're not permitted to eat it on the day that you yotzi the mitzvah. Because that part was designated for the mitzvah. Everybody agrees. Nobody argues that. The Rosh is speaking about if you want to cut the esrog in half, part for the mitzvah, part for yourself. That's what he's speaking about. But to take the whole esrog, of course not. Because the esrog, part of it was designated for the mitzvah on that day. So Shana Rabbah, you're not permitted. You're not permitted to use the whole esrog. Even according to Rosh, you're not permitted to use the whole esrog on Hoshana Rabbah. You have to wait for Shmini Atzeres. You can do whatever you want with it. You can leave it till Hanukkah. If they let you. Yeah, 100%. All daliminim you can leave in shul. Like your shemus, like people leave shemus in shul. Just leave it there. Okay? Can't do anything with it. He has to wait till Hoshana Rabbah to do something with it. For Shmini Atzeres. Pre-designate something else. No, not for the whole esrog, not the whole esrog.
Even then?
Not, because the esrog was used, part of it was needed for the mitzvah. You have to wait till the end of the day. It expires at the end of the day, even Drabanan.
Even if I said, once I use this esrog in the morning in Hoshana Rabbah, I now am finished with it.
Doesn't help. We just that's the halacha here. The moment if an esrog is used for a mitzvah on the day, you have to wait for the day to be over. Right? The subsequent days where you don't need the whole esrog, so as long as you have enough of the esrog to be yotze the mitzvah, the balance could be used for whatever else you want. Exactly. So it can't be used for anything. So I'm saying. Right. Whatever. Factually, this boy, his father's a Rosh Yeshiva. Some probably knows the mother he collects him, and mother keeps it till after Yom Tov. After Yom Tov, she makes the marmalade. was known, when you went to Rebbetzin Knefsi, it was just a yard site now, Allah Shalom. So she used to make marmalade, and she used to give it out. It was like a segula, and it was from esrogim. She used to gather esrogim from sukkahs, many people, and she would have her recipe of marmalade. And people came to see Reb Chaim. People had a special relationship. She would give you a jar of this esrog marmalade to take home with you. You came to the border with New York. It was a little bit of a problem, bring exactly. Okay. Just wrap it in the paper and throw it away. Not a problem.
Throw in the woods. Some people
No. In a paper bag, and you dispose of it. Put it in the paper bag and throw it away.
Like bread. Like bread.
It's different. Bread is not a bit. Bread is a different concept. You don't throw bread directly in the garbage. You wrap it in a napkin and put it in the garbage. Bread. Even put it in the paper, it's not good enough. It has to be put separate. It's you have to know the halachas, and they let it. It has to decompose. It has to decompose before they discard it. Produce of Shemitah. Somebody just asked me. Somebody. And dispose it before it decomposes. Good. No, because it has to do, because somebody just asked me, if you came back from Israel after Sukkot and the meals on the airline meals, so you have salad. So the vegetables, it's definitely, it's Shemitah vegetables. It is. No, tomatoes. Right, tomatoes or lettuce. Right, we're talking fresh produce. So after you finish eating, what do you do with it? It has Kedusha Shvius. So you have to wrap it. They throw it straight into the trash. The stewardesses on the airline. I'm not the expert in this. It's not my responsibility. Even when I took it, I only took it to take what I want. What I don't want, I don't want. I never took it that it should be mine. No, even if a goy, even if a non-Jew, even the way it's been harvested is permitted, then you permit it, but it still has Kedusha Shvius. Produce that grows in Israel. You're supposed to put it in a separate receptacle and let it decompose. He says, just wrap it and toss it, but you can't toss it, you can't treat it like regular trash. That's a chumrah. That's a chumrah. Or it would have a separate receptacle, put it in a separate garbage bag. It shouldn't be with the regular trash. He says, you should throw it out right away, as long as it's in a separate bag. Okay.